Hi, I'm Aaron Tweeden. I'm going to show you how you can steep your audience with evidence on your landing page so they'll be convinced that your solution will solve their problems. So say you're creating a landing page. You've got a target audience picked out, you've addressed your audience's problems, you've provided a solution, and you've got a clear call to action to get to that solution. Like this page. But how do you convince them that your solution works? Easy. You verify your solution by steeping them with evidence. Okay, so here's a breakdown of the STEEP methods. So the S stands for scientific metrics. These are meaningful metrics, charts, graphs, some sort of study that verify your solution. Now next would be T for testimonials. Success stories from people who have used your solution and have found that it solves their problem. One of the E's stands for explanation. That's where you boil down a complex topic to help readers overcome doubts or confusion. Another E is for examples. These are theoretical illustrations of who could enjoy your solution and how they would benefit. And then the P stands for processes. This is a simple demonstration of the solutions process that helps a reader concludes that it works. Now, I'm going to give some examples of what these would look like. By the way, you don't have to use every method in STEEP, but the more the better. Also, you don't have to present the methods in any particular order. I've only got it arranged this way for memorization purposes. Otherwise, it might be something like Pete's, and that name's already taken. So think of steeping like steeping a tea bag. The more it steeps, the stronger the tea. Now you may think that steep is overkill, but I think that it's helpful if you're struggling with verifying your solution and convincing people to take your call to action. Otherwise, you might be expecting people to take action only because you say so. And because I said so doesn't really convince people to take action. I've seen that it doesn't work in the workplace. It doesn't work in parenting. Even God himself never tells people to do things because he says so. Have you ever heard of the 10 Commandments? Sometimes people think the 10 Commandments are just a bunch of rules that we're supposed to follow because God said so. But they actually start off with evidence and verification first before calling people to action. So here's how the 10 Commandments actually start. It starts off with, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. So God himself is starting off with the verification before calling people to action. And if you read elsewhere in the Bible, you're going to see plenty of metrics, testimonials, explanations, examples, and processes, each verifying the solution. Trust God who delivered us from slavery. Now, this isn't meant to be a Bible study, but my point is that if God doesn't use the do it because I said so method, we probably shouldn't either. So let's see some examples of what STEEP would look like for our local coffee house. So first we could show some scientific metrics. We could show how studies show coffee is good for you. Now, those studies are debatable. There will be studies that show it's good for you. Other studies show it bad. Since we're promoting coffee, we're going to go with the ones that say it's good. Then for testimonials, you could, if you've got some people on Yelp that have given good testimonials, ask them if they would like to leave a testimonial for your website or your landing page. Another thing you could do then is explain what you offer. So don't assume that everybody knows what is available at a coffee house. Like Sometimes people think coffee house, coffee shop, oh, I can go get waffles and bacon. So explain what you've got. We've got coffee, we've got to-go pastries, and we've got certain cook-to-order items. Then for examples of people that would benefit from your solutions, these could be business partners that need a meeting place. This could be bloggers that need a place to write. That's sometimes something that I do. I'll grab my laptop or iPad and head over to a coffee shop just to escape and concentrate for a while. You could give a couple of other examples as well. And then last thing, the P stands for process. So explain how the process works. Come in, you order a drink. Explain how the food ordering works. We'll deliver your food and coffee to your table. Depending on your setup, that might be a different process. What would be great, though, is that if you explain what the target audience can expect. So that's an example for a coffee house. Let's switch over to what essential oils would be like if that was a product you're selling or some other product. So for scientific metrics, you could show the studies showing the benefits of specific oils. Don't just do generic oils, show some specific oils. Then give some testimonials, success stories from people who have used these oils. And the more specific you can get, the better. Then for E, explanation. You want to explain some of these concepts. For example, you may look up essential oils everywhere. Well, what is an essential oil? What does essential stand for? What makes this brand so special? So that's something that you could explain. Then give some examples. Give examples how one particular oil might help relieve a headache. Another one might relieve stress. And there might be different methods of using the oils. One you might apply to your skin. The other might be an aromatic oil that you put in a diffuser or something like that. And then you want to show the process. So, for example, in the last video, when I was given an example of a call to action for essential oils would be sign up for a reward program. Well, you want to explain the process of how the reward program works. Illustrate it, boil it down so that people would understand what they're signing up for, and that would help remove any confusion that would keep them from taking your call to action. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it helps. You can sign up for more of my tips at AaronTweeten.com.